Greetings, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the Pit Stop. And joining us today is the 80th president of the NBA, Lanita Baker.
Hey, Nick, happy to be here to join you for the Pit Stop.
So, I've had the opportunity to observe you over the years within the NBA as a member and as a leader. And one question I've always wanted to know, and that is, why did you decide to run for president-elect?
When I got involved in NBA, it was simply just to get involved. I came to my first NBA convention and was coming from Kentucky, was amazed at the number of Black attorneys that I saw who were at the top of their game, who were just amazing. And so I was happy to help doing past President Ben Crump's year. I got involved. I was his chief of communications. And then I ran for member at large. I was kind of thrown into that. When I ran for member at large, I never planned to become president of the National Bar Association. But why did I run? Because at the time that I was wrapping up my vice president term, I looked around to see who else was going to lead our great organization and felt that I was the best person to take the reins at that time. And so in lieu of my love and my service of the National Bar Association, I ran out of a labor of love.
There's some parallels in that as to why I'm running for president-elect, and that is sort of the same thing. When you mentioned how you came to the NBA and you saw a lot of lawyers who looked like you and thought like you, and you wanted to be able to take the organization to a greater height.
Yeah, and I've seen you in action, and you do have what it takes to be a great president of the National Bar Association.
Well, thank you. That means a lot coming from you. So my next question to you is, we talk a lot about the membership of Black lawyers across the country, and the numbers are in the 67,000 or 68,000 range. So as president-elect, and when you became president, what were some of the biggest challenges in terms of membership and trying to get some of those people who were not associated with the NBA to become members?
I think one of the biggest obstacles is we don't realize, because we love the NBA, we don't realize just how many people don't know about the National Bar Association. So for me, it was important to get out, get around, spread, this is the National Bar Association, this is who we are, and to show people what the NBA could offer them in light of what it offered me. I think of when I came to the National Bar Association, I was a prosecutor. I loved being a prosecutor, but going from being a public service attorney to in 2020 being able to represent one of the biggest civil rights cases in the country, being Breonna Taylor, I don't know if I would have had the bravery without seeing female trial lawyers like a C.K. Hoffler through the NBA, or being friends with a past president, Benjamin Crump, and calling him into co-counsel on that case with me. So that's what the NBA gave to me, just a small town girl here in Louisville, Kentucky. And it was important to me to show other people that the NBA could also be that for them.
It's interesting you say that about what people, ordinary lawyers, don't know about the NBA. As I've traveled the country the last couple of years, I'm getting the same questions. Some people ask, what is the NBA? So there are people out there, Black lawyers and judges, who don't know what the NBA is at all. When I tell them the National Bar Association, it still means nothing to them. I recall at one stop talking to someone, and he said, well, I do probate and estate law, and the NBA focuses on civil rights, and so there's no place for me. So I think you're right. There are a lot of people who just don't know the benefits of membership, don't know about all the NBA has to offer, and don't know about everything they can do for the NBA. So that's what I'd like to see us do a better job at, explaining to people, whether they're from, Louisville or New York City, explaining to them the benefits of the NBA and why they should bring their talents and their treasure to the NBA. So that's very interesting.
You made a good point about that. I've always told people, I've connected people to the sections or divisions that suited their practice, so that they know there is a home for them within the NBA, regardless of their practice. And I think that's one of the engagement tactics that I use to get people involved. If you do employment law, let me connect you with the section chair for the employment law section. If you do probate, like you said, let me put you in contact with Terrence Quinn, who's that chair of that section. So I think connecting people with the sections that relate to them is an easy target to get them to become members and to stay members.
Yeah, that's a great idea. That's a very great idea. Um, giving them people within the NBA who already have share some of their same interest legally. Um, so I think that's a great approach. Okay, so my last question, and this is going to be a tough one. I hope you're ready for this one.
Oh,
So, is there a section, division, or region that you think carries the pulse of the heart of the NBA?
of course, I have to go with my own region, Region 6. They would be mad at me if I didn't, but I honestly, I would not be in the NBA if it wasn't for Region 6. I was voluntold to host a Region 6 meeting some years ago. And when my family that they're now family, my NBA mom, when my NBA family came to Louisville, Kentucky, they sold me on the NBA. I got a ticket for, a couple of months later to end up in Miami. So I'm going to say Region 6, but that's because that's my home. But I will be remiss if I did not say that every region, section, division, and member is the lifeblood of the National Bar Association. And our sections, divisions, and regions do carry the messaging, and our affiliates.
Right.
As a former affiliate president, they carry the messaging of the National Bar Association, and we need to recognize the importance that all of those subparts make up for, as we like to say, the big bar.
Right. No, I agree with you there wholeheartedly. I've been around the country in all the regions. So I've been in every region over the last 2 years. There are a lot of those divisions that give so much to the NBA. And so I agree with you. We all have our, preference because, that's what we are. That's the division we're in or the region we're in. But we also recognize, as you just pointed out, that all of those section, division, and regions, are the lifeblood of the NBA, and we wouldn't be what we are and wouldn't have the potential we have without all of them. So thank you very much for that comment. So, President Baker, I know you're very busy. I want to thank you for taking the time to be a guest on the Pit Stop.
My pleasure. And I look forward to joining you on the campaign trail as we get out the vote for Pittman.
Thank you.